This is Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome to an abbreviated and a little shorter edition of WST today. Apologies for everyone that has been kicking it in the chat since 1 o'clock. Crazy winds out here, breezy today for the Pro-Am. And it unfortunately knocked our internet out. I was doing the lock shop with Dusty, and just past 12:30, we got knocked out, popped in for a second, and then we have been essentially dark. Power's been on, but they've been working on it. We are finally back right now, so I will apologize in advance. This will be a shorter program than we normally do. We will get you a little bit of what to look forward to here at Breezy at the Manitoba Open beginning tomorrow for round number 1 with the tournament director, Brendan Baldwin. I'm hoping to squeeze in a little NFL and fantasy talk with Thomas Tipple a little bit later on, but we'll get right into it with the latest news on the Bombers as they travel this afternoon out to Montreal, getting ready for this big game against the Alouettes tomorrow night. As I said, be a little shorter of a show than we normally do. We'll get you the latest on the club as they head out to Montreal, a little bit more on the golf, and we've got so much planned for the next couple days. Did want to get you a little bit of fantasy and NFL talk because I know many of you are drafting, so we certainly will do that with Thomas from Fantasy Points a little bit later on. But I do want to give a big thanks to all the sponsors that make WST happen each and every day. Of course, our partners at CoolBet. Don't forget, you got 2 days, folks, to get in your entries for the Labor Day trip giveaway. Of course, our partners at CoolBet have gotten us 2 spots on the Huss Bus, the 1930 crew, with me and the gang out to Labor Day. It includes hotel, transportation to and from Regina, transportation to and from the game, your tickets to the Labor Day Classic, a dinner on Saturday night. So we've got you all covered. All you need to do, put in a $10 bet at CoolBet in anything. You want to talk bet Jays, you want to bet the Bombers, CFL, whatever you want. Screen cap it, send that in along with your CoolBet user ID and your contact info to contest@winnipegsportstalk.com. And we will make that happen Friday with a special marble race after the regular marble race to see who's coming to Regina for the Labor Day Classic. Obviously, want to thank our friends at Princess Auto. Very prominent here, big supporter of the Manitoba Open, along with Rolly's Transfer and Canadian Club, St. Vital Dental Center. Our friends at Manitoba Battery, speaking of great local companies like Princess Auto, Royal Sports, Boston Pizza, Little Brown Jug, Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge, F Apparel, and not sure we're going to have time for a Why Not question of the day for Not Autocorp at Waverly and McGillivray, but I will remind you that we'll do that. Not Autocorp, of course, supporting the men's amateur here in Manitoba when it comes to golf. And, of course, fansfirst.ca with fan feedback. Bomber games now on Fans First. If you're looking for Banjo Bowl tickets, your best place to go right now is fansfirst.ca. Well, Michael, we were just about ready to say, damn, we hadn't fully missed a show since we got bumped on our flight and then had to travel the entire day heading to Vegas, I believe, about a year and a half ago for the draft.
Yeah.
So better late than never and a little abbreviated, but it has been a really fun day out here. We've seen a lot of people, a lot of the heavy hitters in town here for this Pro-Am today, which was very, very well attended. Got a 1 pro for the first 9, 1 pro in the second 9, and an interesting format too, teeing off from the morning all the way through the afternoon. So it's been a very busy place going on right now, in addition to the people freaking out and trying to fix the internet for us.
Yeah. We were just about ready to hit the 19th hole, but just as we had our 1 foot out the door, the internet came back. So having to be here, lots to talk about the Bombers' depth chart, but looking forward to seeing how this tournament plays out this week. Hearing lots of reports of very deep rough, especially with all this rain that we finally had here in the last couple of weeks. I know at my house, my grass was like yellow in June and July, and now is a very healthy green. So I can't imagine what it did for the course here, but a lot of excited people at the Pro-Am and a lot of activity here at Breezy Bend. So,
yeah, I'm not sure if people can see behind us out on the patio, but the flags are working overtime right now. And I'll tell you what, if it is windy like this for the tournament this weekend, that will certainly keep scores down. There's a couple videos already of players that have put out on social media just dropping balls into the rough and seeing them disappear. So they're going to have to be ready to go and hopefully keep it in the short stuff if they want to score well. Beginning tomorrow, we'll talk about it, what you can look forward to coming here, opportunities for families to come out. Brendan Baldwin will join us for a few minutes coming up in a bit. But I will remind you again, if you are planning on coming out and want to follow Eric Comrie's group, who he'll be playing with, 4-time Manitoba amateur champion Braxton Kuntz making his professional debut here on his home course. They are off at 2:40 tomorrow, but it will be all morning, starting in the morning, right through until dusk, Thursday and Friday, before the field is cut down for the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. But as I say, we'll talk about that for a little bit, but let's get right to the Bombers. Obviously, the big story this week in Winnipeg sports, in addition to the Manitoba Open and the CEBL Championship weekend. By the way, we were supposed to have Mike Morreale earlier on, the commissioner of the league. We've rescheduled that to tomorrow. We're going to have to pack a lot of things in tomorrow because there's a couple things we did miss. But we're all wondering, Remis, what the Bomber depth chart and roster was going to look like as they headed out to Montreal after the signing of Demario Houston and the return to practice this week of Dalton Schoen.
Yeah, we saw earlier this week Dalton Schoen practicing in uniform for the first time. He's on game 5 of his 6-game injured list stint. Could come back early, but he is not on the depth chart. And Demario Houston signed over the weekend, former Bomber. Sure doesn't take a lot for him to become familiar with the playbook, with the defense, but he's not in the depth chart either. Who is on the depth chart? Running back returner Peyton Logan will make his Blue Bombers debut. Cam Lawson returns from his injury, and Fabian Waits in for the injured Nick Hallett on special teams. But the notable name there, Peyton Logan. We saw him before with Calgary. Pretty good in the return game. He can run the ball as well. How will he integrate into the offense that needs playmakers, but also special teams now? Trey Vaval, he's been returning all year, but he's had to go up to become a starter at defensive back because of the injuries. So how will they split the return duties on Thursday? That is now tomorrow in Montreal. So Mike O'Shea and Jason Hogan not really giving a ton of answers. I actually thought they were pretty open about other topics, but when it came to Peyton Logan, they weren't really showing their hand.
We and the Montreal Alouettes are on a need-to-know basis, and we'll need to know. We'll find out for ourselves tomorrow when the game kicks off. As far as Vaval goes, he will be starting at corner. Again, Lawson Jr. on the other side. Nichols, Holm, Cramdy in the secondary. You got your linebacking core of Griffin and Wilson with Tony Jones in the middle. And Adams, Vaughters, Willie Jefferson, and Jake Thomas up front for the Bomber defense. As far as the offense goes, Zach Caleros, of course, Brady Oliveira in the backfield. Dembski, Mitchell, Stearns, all still in the lineup. Weedfall and Claircius. And the offensive line will be Stanley Bryant, Wallace, Kolinkowski, Neufeld, and Randolph at right tackle. And the one thing that is not listed in this is who is starting at returner they've got a couple options. Of course, Vival is the guy that has been so good this season, a bit of a revelation. I don't think anyone expected him to be as good, as effective as he has been. But as you mentioned, Remo, he's got a lot on his plate right now as a starter at corner. So I wouldn't be surprised that they do give Peyton Logan some reps at the return position and potentially try and mix him in a little bit on offense, although he hasn't practiced very much as well. This really was the first time all year that he'd been there with the club.
Yeah, but there were struggles in the return game since Janarian Grant left for the Argos. They've really been looking for someone to take the bull by the horns here and become the returner. Last year, Lucky Whitehead was the guy. Didn't have a ton of success, and he did also fumble in the Grey Cup, but Peyton Logan was a guy.
Yes, he did.
Sorry to bring that up. Peyton Logan was a guy, again, had success. He was signed to be the returner. Trey Vival has emerged, but he's now thrust into the defensive back role, so I think it would be a good opportunity to see what Peyton Logan can bring as well, so there's not so much on Vival's plate. He did have that really that great game with the two touchdowns. So we'll see how it goes. I want to see Peyton Logan. I liked him on Calgary. Maybe they spell him, spell Brady at running back, gets a couple carries. You work him out of the backfield. Something to watch here as this offense, looks to generate some more points. The parts are coming in. Schoen, close. You had Stanley Bryant back. Collaros, he's back now after missing some time. And Brady Oliveira, we're waiting for, he's still pretty solid as well.
Yeah, now I'm just noticing a couple things. By the way, shout out to everybody that's with us actually live in chat. You guys are unbelievable to wait it out the way that you did. So a special thanks to everyone that's joining us live. I do see DB in chat with Bonfire mentioning that the Bonfire guys will be live around 3:10 or so. And that's perfect. We're going to basically do a show right up until that time, and we'll still send you over to Bombing and Walby with their pregame coverage. Got to hear what Big Bluto's got to say, along with DB. But we did hear from Coach Mike O'Shea yesterday, as well as OC Jason Hogan, and a number of topics covered as the team finished their closed practice and got ready for today's walkthrough into flying out to Montreal today. And Remis, a lot of talk, both here on this program, in Winnipeg and around the league, about the importance of Nick Dembski. And you do wonder, with everything the team has dealt with this year, where the Bombers would be without Nick Dembski doing what he's done so far this season.
Yeah, Jeff Hamilton, had a nice story in the Free Press on Nick Dembski in his 10th CFL season, age 31, and putting together a career year, Hustler. He's got 41 catches for 640 yards in an offense that hasn't, been that consistent. He's been the guy over and over again. And who was the guy leading, on catching balls when the Bombers needed to get in field goal range to win last week? It was Nick Dembski. Again, he's been the guy for them this season, on pace for a career year, 640 yards in 9 games. His best total in yards was last season, 1,030. He's got that catch streak going on as well, and I think he can set a record for catches in a season. He had 76 last year. I imagine he's going to break that halfway through the season with 41. So he's on pace for career highs in his 10th year, age 31, and in a position where, usually on the downside, he's looking better than ever. Oh, listen, he certainly is, and he's so versatile. It's not just catching passes, it's taking screens out of the backfield, it's rushing when needed. And as I said, I'm not going to jinx Nick, and I'm not going to get into what he's projected to do, but you mentioned 1,030 yards. I believe his total for the year was like 997, essentially a 1,000-yard season. And hopefully Nick can stay healthy, keep doing what he's doing, hit that 1,000-yard mark for the 3rd straight season, and cash a few over bets for Bomber fans as well. Let's hear from Mike O'Shea. He spoke on the longevity of Nick Dembski now into season 10.
Yeah, I think what I like most now, you always appreciate his athleticism, and when you are first around him in for a longer period of time, you realize just how good he is, how athletic he is. And then what you notice of late is he's still working hard in Indy, trying to be just a little bit better in the areas that he wants to be better in, right? He's still putting the time in to work on specialty catches or footwork out of a break, and I think that's important leadership for the group. So that aspect is awesome.
All right, well, a guy that's helping the Bombers in so many ways, number 10, Nick Dembski, but he has been phenomenal this season, and Coach O'Shea just talked about the work that he put in this offseason to get to where he is right now.
Yeah, I think as you get older, it's more work. Yeah. I think someone who's that gifted athletically early on in their career, it's not a lot of work. You put in the work, but you probably, as you get older, you realize that there's more and more work to put in, and you keep adding things to your plate. And, I've said this before, at a certain point in time, you get to the point where you can't add anything more to your day, and that's probably close to being the end, right? But certainly as you get older, and a receiver in his 10th season, it certainly gets, I would think, gets tougher and tougher because you got to keep adding stuff to your daily routine.
All right, so there's Coach on Nick Dembski and how he's doing it and the work that went into it before. Now, they just added Demario Houston. Of course, Dalton Schoen is back, but we have seen some moving parts on the club. And Mike O'Shea was also asked, as the team is at the midway point of the season, about to play game number 10, if there's still any evaluating going on within the team at the midway point of the season.
Yeah, I've never broken the season up into thirds or halves or, after Labor Day or now's the playoffs. I've never done it that way.
You hear hockey coaches often say breaking it into 10-game segments.
They got 82 games. They better break it up. Imagine doing 82 pregame speeches. I have no clue what you would even say. I have a hard time with 12, and we play 18, so.
What is 18?
Yes, yeah. So, no, I've never broken it up. It's pretty busy during the season. I don't think you have enough staff members to do a full-on breakdown. We try to look at things on a weekly basis in terms of trends or information that you're gathering. You keep up on it so you can see it. Coming off on a short week and then going on to another opponent, I know we have a regular week now, but where game 9 and 10 split, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. If we had a bye week at this point, then we would look at more stuff.
Yeah, you use bye weeks maybe for that.
Yeah, I don't think it's when it falls where it does. I don't really have the time to do it. But once again, I think it's a weekly process to see where we're at.
Remo, I had to laugh at that. Our old pal Rick Ralph would be disappointed. Just no 10-game segments for Coach O'Shea. It's a 1-game segment, and this 1-game segment for them is the Montreal Alouettes tomorrow night.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to hear that they don't go by any segments. That he's taking a 1 game at a time. You're always evaluating.
1-0 this week. Let's go.
You're 1-0, and I guess he did mention that there's just a lot more games in an NHL season. You have 82. You have 18. In the CFL
What's the
season.
Equivalent of that? Sort of 2-game segments.
Yeah, yeah.
two and a bit, 9 quarters.
So it sounds kind of crazy. They wouldn't sit there at the midway. Okay, where are we? But they're always evaluating. They're saying, okay, where are we this week? Where do we need to get better? We're trying to improve. But a nice callback to the 10-game segments, which NHL coaches use.
You know it. Listen, focusing on tomorrow. Montreal's down to their 4th-string quarterback, and it'll be James Morgan getting the start. He acquitted himself pretty well, I thought, for a guy that probably hadn't had many reps in practice and came in off the bench due to injury last week. He will get those reps this week, and we certainly know Jason Moss has a lot of other players that can do damage. Here's what Mike O'Shea had to say about the Alouettes and their quarterback situation for tomorrow night.
I wouldn't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters for Montreal.
What do you mean?
They're going to compete their asses off no matter what. It don't matter. They're just going to compete. They're going to understand where they're at. And they're going to compete hard. So. we got to be ready.
It does potentially, if you're a defense, should present potentially some opportunity to take
Possibly.
advantage of the guy's inexperience.
Yeah, if you think of it that way. Yeah.
Don't you?
I think we look at it like this guy's a pro quarterback, and he's trusted with running an offense, and they got a good coach and a good OC and a good defense and good special teams, and everything's about being three-phase and winning as a team, not, putting everything on the shoulders of one guy. And even if they were to do that, I think he's going to be well coached and prepared, and he's a pro quarterback.
All right, so there's Coach O'Shea, and he is a pro quarterback. And I pointed this out yesterday, and I know many Bomber fans. And listen, I was looking at the Cool Bet lines. I mean, the Bombers are up to 6.5-point favorites now, and I guess I get it. But let's also remember that Davis Alexander came in last year as, I believe, a third stringer at the beginning of the season. And we know where he ended up. And this James Morgan has been in NFL camps. He played in minor leagues in the United States. He certainly has a big league professional arm, and they got some weapons there in Montreal. So I'll be honest, I appreciate what Mike O'Shea had to say there, because I do believe that this Bomber football team should not be in any way overconfident or expecting an easier time just because it's next man up for Montreal.
And for Winnipeg, we've talked about the changes that they've had on defensive back. We've seen them give up big plays as well. And, Montreal, I'm sure they're going to be pissed off at the way things went. They're at home. Are they going to have the air horns or not? We know the fans there are certainly bringing it either way. And the Bombers have had trouble going east in the past. So, the line a bit high. And these guys are pros. He's had success at other levels. He might be new to the CFL. We will see how it goes. And I don't think he impressed last week, but he didn't make a fool of himself. He didn't throw a ton of picks. So
and that he'll be far more, I think, prepared, just having a little bit of live game experience and a full week of practice. So for me, I'm not touching that line. I just hope the Bombers can do what they're going there to do, and that's go 1-0 and get to 6-4. Get a little bit of momentum going into, of course, the Labor Day Classic against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. One more from Osh, and this is about Peyton Logan. Here's Paul Friesen asking about the return of Peyton Logan after waiting for his availability since he was signed in the offseason.
Well, I think you look at opportunities to get a touch here and there, but I think, with Trey, everybody believes in him. The guys are working hard for him. He's working hard for his teammates. What are you going to do? It's pro sport, right? I mean, this is how it happens.
Yeah. So it's a good luxury, good decision to have to make maybe each game, each week.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Peyton Logan's a good returner. He's proven it.
Could you use both?
Yeah, you can. It depends on whether we want to move our system around or not.
Yeah. So it's unlikely?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Something about the back and forth between Freezer and Osh always cracks me up. But Paul doing his job trying to get the answers, and the coach sometimes not giving him what he wanted, but I appreciate the asking, even if maybe he didn't get the straight goods from O'Shea. But Peyton Logan is on the roster. He'll be an option for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tomorrow. One guy we haven't heard a lot of, and this is a guy that a lot of people were talking about, including myself, wondering about just how things worked at the end of the game, and obviously the continued progress of the Blue Bomber offense, is the offensive coordinator, Jason Hogan. And Hogan spoke to the media as well, and this is the Bombers OC on what he's learned about this team through half of the 2025 season.
I learned a lot about ourselves. Just, every week you learn a lot about yourself. What you did right, what you did wrong. Go ahead and correct the mistakes and move on.
What are you seeing in second halves the last couple of weeks?
We just need to get more production, stay on the football field as long as we can.
What are you seeing why that's not happening?
Defense are making stops.
Okay.
We're just maybe not executing as good as we should.
Think that you're not doing at halftime?
What's that?
Is there anything you're not doing at halftime? Like, is there something you can do more of? If the changes are in the second half, is there really the chance that coordinators get to talk to the players?
Yeah.
Identify what you guys are doing.
Correct.
No, anything you've learned from like shutting you down and changing?
No, I think we actually did a good job of sticking to the script. If they're not adjusting anything defensively, we're just going to go ahead and run our plays, the same plays, just mix it up, move some guys around, that sort of stuff.
All right, so there's a little bit more about Jason Hogan on, just the continued development of the offense. You knew that when he was going to be meeting with the media, there'd be some questions over what transpired before the 57-yard kick that ended up being missed and returned for a touchdown, tying the game up on last Thursday. Here's Jason Hogan on that 2nd and 3 run package with Chris Streveler in the fourth quarter Thursday.
Yeah, it was a 2. It was 2 yards, so we felt comfortable going 1-and-1 with the short yardage. Yeah.
What is 3 yards?
Yeah, on TV copy it was 3 yards because like 2 and maybe a little more than 2, so they mark it as 3 on the TV, but it was really 2.
How much conversations going on at that point? Like, are you advocating? Is it Mike's final call? Like when they're like, whether it's the throwing pass against Toronto, whether it's the choice to field goal, like who's making that final choice on the call? And
we
like
always discuss as staff prior to these situations, right? There's a lot. There's an infinite amount of situations, so it's hard to cover them all. At that point in time, I saw the spot myself, and then Osh confirmed it, so we were going short yardage.
I don't think anyone will convince Mike to do something or convince him to say he won't do it, what he did. So I'm wondering if you're like that. Like, do you feel like you learned from, like, would you ever, like, put in that same situation? Would you throw the ball in a 6-point game? In this situation, like, would you kick the 57-yarder? Like, do you feel like or do you feel like that was the play, that's what I would do next time this happened? Whatever
Osh chose was in the best intentions for the team, so I support that decision always.
All right. A lot of support for the head coach, as, any smart employee has for their superior, their boss. Listen, there has been a few interesting decisions, we'll say. Hammer mentioned that, the toss up 6 by Chris Streveler in the Toronto game, which, they sort of put on the quarterback. They liked the play call. But it was the nature of the business. Sometimes when things don't go your way or it blows up on you, you're going to get second-guessed. And when things work, you're a genius. Hopefully there'll be more genius conversations on the program as everything clicks as they move forward. But we are here at the midway point of the season. Huge game tomorrow. Jason Hogan, one more him. Just his feeling on the state of the offense at the midpoint of the campaign.
I think irrelevant, in terms of what game you're at, you just want to get better week in and week out. The process is we got to not repeat mistakes, clean it up every week, and just keep working to be 1-0 every week and just get better. So,
but are you satisfied with them to this point this year?
I think we've had some tremendous growth. So yes, I am. As long as we're not repeating mistakes and we're getting better, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, we got to get to where we need to be when it's crunch time in playoffs.
Obviously, the goal come playoffs will be a dominant offense. Are you confident you can get there?
I think we can, yeah. I definitely think we have the tools to do that. Correct.
All right, so there's Bomber OC Jason Hogan, the team on the bird this afternoon, out to Montreal. Jeff Hamilton will join me. And listen, if you tuned in today expecting the normal extended 2+ hours of Winnipeg sports talk, and because we're being shorter with this issues that we've had today with the internet, and you haven't already done so, follow up WST with CFL 110. We had some great conversations about the big stories in the Canadian Football League, discussed this game at length, and Hammer will join us from Montreal tomorrow, as will our friend Mo Khan. It's been too long since we've had Mo on the program, Reem, and with the CEBL Championship weekend here in Winnipeg this weekend, and the Bombers playing Montreal, perfect time to welcome Mo back into the mix tomorrow.
It's been a while since we've had Mo on.
Too long.
He's been busy calling Montreal Alliance, and he's, I think, calling U Sports, football. He's all over it. And I texted Mo when Montreal made the playoffs. I said, Mo, I hope we can see you here in Winnipeg. Unfortunately, Montreal not advancing to championship weekend, but I'm excited. It's been way too long since we had Mo Khan on the show.
Yeah, well, and we were supposed to have Mike Morreale, the CEBL commissioner, on today. We pushed that back to tomorrow, so we'll have Mo, Hammer. We will definitely have Mike Morreale And we'll have lots here from the Manitoba Open. We just saw our pal Mike McIntyre, who just finished up the Pro-Am here. Paul Edmonds as well taking part in the Pro-Am. A great crowd. As I said, all the heavy hitters, the Bobby Big Shots of Winnipeg out here for this one today. But it really has, it's actually turned out quite nice now after very, very windy conditions earlier that I think maybe played a part in our lack of internet service that kind of cost us the first hour of the program. We will get to the latest on the lines coming up with the CFL. Update on the Blue Jays, who are playing this afternoon. But we should get to, this is, Brendan Baldwin's about to join us, and we caught up with him a little bit earlier, the tournament director, and wanted to bring him on to talk about, the work that goes into putting on an event of this scale, but also with it being at Breezy Bend for the first time in like 30 years, wanted people to know everything they need to know about parking, the facility, what's going on for kids and families this week. So right now, a quick catch up with the tournament director of this week's Manitoba Open here at Breezy Bend, Brendan Baldwin. All right, we're back at Breezy Bend getting ready for the Manitoba Open, which of course tees off on Thursday. And the tournament director, Brendan Baldwin's with us. Brendan, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I have been around enough to know the incredible amount of work that's gone into bringing this tournament to Breezy Bend. You, of course, are at the head of it all. How's it been for you? And how excited are you and the rest of the team to get things going with the pros?
Yeah, it's been good. We obviously had a really dry June, July, and first little bit of August, and then we got some water. So it's been a bit of a challenge making sure we get the golf course dried out a little bit and kind of playable for the conditions and everything that we're dealing with. The players in the events are growing every year in the sense of talent and everything. So it's unbelievable how structured everything is with their practice and all of that. So playing really well, and seeing them come out and a little bit of a firmer condition would help. So Craig McLeod's staff's been doing an amazing job getting the golf course as dry as they possibly can and getting everything cut and cleaned up after the weather we had on Sunday night. And golf course looks amazing.
They, I mean, listen, I can't say enough about Craig. And listen, for years, what his staff has done, I mean, the way they've changed the golf course and the work they've done before. But holy smokes, I mean, I was out here about a week ago or so, and the rough was at 4 inches. They said they hope we'd get it to 5, which it looks pretty darn close to that right now. Quite a challenge. Even though it might be one of the shorter courses that these pros will play, you better hit it straight or else it's going to be U.S. Open style.
Yeah, 100%. We've had some good feedback from players actually so far. A couple players actually posted some videos on social media yesterday dropping some balls in the rough, and the ball just completely disappears. So I think one of like the little hashtags and comments was, I hope there's spotters out here this week. So I think they'll definitely be a challenge in the rough there, and some good feedback on the tee shots too. It's easy when you think of it from a member perspective. They play here every day. They know where they need to hit it, and they've kind of seen their ball end up in good or bad spaces on those tee shots. Whereas these players coming in, not necessarily blind, but to a new course, they're analyzing the tee shots, and their comments back are, it's not as easy, not as simple as it looks. So
you mentioned simply to have some spotters. You guys pretty much have everything. Just before we talk about what people will be looking forward to when they come out here, tell us about what goes into putting on this tournament and the amount of people that are volunteering their time or working involved with the process, because I mean, I joked with you last week when you were here that there's not enough hours in the day for everything, that not just for you, but everyone that's a part of the Manitoba Open team here at Breezy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of the kind of under-noticed or maybe ignored part of a tournament is people show up and they kind of see just the Thursday through Sunday. They'll obviously have their admissions attendant or parking attendant that they've seen on the property, but a lot of the unseen stuff that goes on behind the scenes with the scoring and even the simple parts of holding a quiet sign, all of that, it all takes volunteers, and we're lucky enough to have a really good group of volunteers that come year to year with this event, and then the support from the Breezy membership and GM Corey Johnson with getting other people to fill in where they're needed, and it's going to be a really good opportunity to kind of showcase our community and how well we can set up the event. Corey
is a one of one, a great friend of the program, and listen, I think he is really kind of inspired a lot of pride from people at Breezy that this tournament is coming here. They're looking forward to showing off all the changes they've done to the golf course and the club, and it should be a great. Speaking of that, For folks that are unaware, Breezy Bend just past the perimeter out on Roblin. Let's talk about what people need to know when they're coming out here for the event. Let's start off with parking. Golf tournaments like this where you have tons of people coming in, there's always a stress on parking, but you guys seem to have a pretty good setup this year for everyone.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a challenge figuring out what we're going to expect, and it being an outdoor event with the way the weather is, it changes people's attendance so much. So making sure that we've got enough space for everybody when they come out. So we've secured a location just up the road a little bit on Roblin. RBM Gardens is or nursery is the location. So we'll have parking set up in there. We've got it all mapped out with spots, and we'll have shuttle pickups that'll go back and forth between there and the golf course. So multiple opportunities throughout the day. If you come in from first tee time in the morning till last tee time in the afternoon, there'll be shuttles going all day, which kind of leads back into that volunteer side of things. Like I think we have 12 or so volunteers that are just going to be driving that shuttle back and forth the whole day. So.
And we're not talking about a long shuttle ride. I mean, basically, I think they timed it out. It's about 1:20 on one of those suckers, just back and forth.
Yeah, and then we've got some logistics stuff with working really well with the municipality and Headingley to make sure that we can restrict some traffic on the road, down the speed a little bit, so it's a safer journey back over. So yeah, 1:30 by shuttle, and just basically get out of your car, walk to the shuttle pickup, and you're on the golf course in 1:30. So.
All right, well, we hope people will come out. It begins on Thursday. And again, if you're wanting to see Breezy Bend's Braxton Kuntz making his professional debut, 4-time Manitoba amateur champion, playing with Eric Comrie, they're at 2:40 tee time on Thursday afternoon. And I would imagine for those people that are coming out Thursday afternoon, maybe they're lucky enough to have Friday off. Few spots you can really post up and have a good time. Well, when people get to the course, what are some of the things that you're most excited for people to see and take part in?
Yeah, it's going to be a cool atmosphere this year. Our events always had a signature hole. The last few years, we've tried to model it off of the waste management hole a little bit. This year, we chose a different route to stay more towards the Canadian roots, and we've got a rink hole that's built on the 7th tee box. So people will come in through the front entrance, walk down the 9th and 8th hole, and then up the 7th par 3. So really cool atmosphere out there. We've got rink boards that go along both sides of the tee and across the back. So players will kind of walk up almost like they're coming out of the dressing room and into the ice surface. So really cool opportunity for them to stand right up next to the rink boards and watch players hit. There's also hospitality right next to the green behind the 8th tee, so everything's kind of all right there in one area. And then as the final groups are coming up throughout the day, we also have hospitality on between the 9th and 18th green that people can go and get a drink and some food in there as well. So a couple of really good locations to sit and watch golf and kind of take in the amazing talent these players have and kind of hang out outside with some snacks and drinks.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Breezy's a really, really great course to walk, and you mentioned that area around 8. You've got 12, you've got 16 right there. It's almost perfect to host something like this with some centered areas for hospitality, couple pops, something to eat, and be able to see a lot of the action. Brendan, one of the other things, and of course this tournament is big on, is youth. Certainly funds raised charitably for the True North Youth Foundation, make a big impact in the community. But you guys have also gone one step further to really try and help grow the game here in Manitoba. We're trying to bring as many youngsters coming in at no cost. Fill us in on what you guys are doing for kids and youth, and if people that are thinking about, maybe should I bring my kids out, there's a lot waiting for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, with any outside event or any opportunity to participate in sport, there's always a cost to it. So we made the decision to make sure that kids could come out with their families and not incur a large admissions charge as they were coming through. So under 18, any kid that comes into the event Thursday through Sunday, there's no admission fee, so they're into the event for free. And then on Saturday, we put on a family day function as well. So between 12 and 4 on Saturday, there'll be some games for the kids. There'll be some setup there. They'll get a hot dog, chips, and a drink. Be able to watch some golf on the 18th hole as people are coming through. So it'll be just behind the 18th hole. They can hang out there and spend the afternoon.
Well, I just have to tell you how impressed I've been watching the build up to this and the work that you and everyone behind the scenes have been doing. The Pro-Am, I mean, incredibly well attended today. I mean, this is a hell of a way to kick things off. Everyone seems to be having a great time. And then one more sleep and the real thing gets going tomorrow.
Yeah, not much sleep, but yeah, one more day for sure.
That's so great. Brendan, listen, really looking forward to the 4 days of the PGA Tour America's Manitoba Open here. Congratulations on all the work you and the team have done so far, and here's to an amazing weekend here at Breezy Bend with some of the best golfers we'll see in Canada this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Us.
Thanks for doing this. All right, great stuff with Brendan. Appreciate him jumping on today. And again, encourage you all to come down. And if you are coming to check out Eric Comrie, I saw he was playing with a buddy of mine, Neil McDonald, who plays here at Breezy in the Pro-Am today. 2:40. And of course, we'll be doing the show live here till just after 3 p.m. The guys will probably be teeing off on 2 and probably head out and catch a few holes of Eric and, of course, Braxton Kuntz. There'll be a lot of people here for Breezy Bend that'll be looking forward to that. Listen, I know we were late today, and we missed out on a few of our guests. We moved some stuff to tomorrow. I do have a little treat for you. I know you people are addicted to marbles. We've got 2 marbles races coming up on Friday. One for the regular Friday festivities. The other where we're going to be giving away the Cool Bet trip for the Labor Day, the 1930 crew with us. But today I did put out that we would be doing maybe an extra marble race or 2 for folks to select their draft order in their fantasy football league. And I got a bunch of buddies who have been all over me to get this done. So we're going to get to the Cool Bet lines. We have to get our picks in for Assiniboia Downs tonight, and then we'll finish it off with a quick run through the funnel to see who's going to be picking first and 1 through 12 in our league. By the way, speaking, we had our issues today with the internet. We are back. I don't know if you caught it last night. ASD had issues with a power outage, and they had to keep on pushing back the first race. They did get them all in, and that's lucky for you because you were able to pick up a nice win and make up another $22 in ground on me.
Yes. Look, you had the big winner to start the year. I had a big one a couple weeks ago, my biggest of the year. So I'm closing the gap on you. We've got to do a final tally. We're away. I wasn't keeping track, but I did hit an exacta box yesterday. A $2 bet times 2 paid $29.60.
You're close to me now. You're within $100 of me. I need a couple winners tonight. Do we want to do the picks first, and then we'll do the Cool Bet lines and the thing?
Sure.
Considering we're on it right now.
Sure. Yeah, I'm on it here, and
I've got mine up. I'm on 4 races today. And again 7:30 post time tonight, barring any power outages. I am on race 1, 3, 5, and 7. Reem.
Okay. I'll check mine. I don't know if I'm on those. I'm not on 1 for sure. I'm on 3, 7, and 5, and 2. So we're pretty similar.
Okay, so for race number 1, I'm doing $2 exacta box on the favorite Falsely Accused and Lab Rat. Like Lab Rat. It's had a couple nice runs this year. So a 1-4 exacta box in race number 1. What do you got in 2?
Yeah, I like that Falsely Accused and Lab Rat. I wasn't sure if you're going to do the try there with the Bringer of Rain. Put that in the... I got race 2. I'm rolling with a trifecta box, 136. That's the chalk box. Silver Spiced, Mighty Mike, and The Right Way. So hoping that one can pay off.
Nice. All right, to race 3. And as I said, I need to get some positive momentum going. So I'm just going to put 5 down on the favorite to win. That's Calming Force number 8, $5.
Okay, and I'm on 1-8. So I have the race 3.
Spike It Rich?
So I have Spike It Rich, trying to spike it rich with Calming Force in an exacta box. And speaking of spiking it rich, I did hit 4 of 7 numbers on the Lotto Max last night. That's enough for a $20 bill.
You told me that, which is nicely done. You told me that, and I'm like, for all the things that and regular listeners know, I like to sprinkle on certainly mostly sports betting, but I'll be in on just about anything. I never get lotto tickets. Maybe I should. Okay. Missing out. Last time I got 50-50, we won at the Downs earlier this week.
That's true. I'll say I don't get lotto tickets either, but I need to use my wife's credit card to activate it. So I was like, what am I going to get that's cheap? So I was like, yeah, I'll just go get a lottery ticket. Why not? And I won $2 on that, so I rolled it forward.
Imagine if you won the lottery, never playing it, and the only reason you bought the ticket was to activate a credit card.
I don't know why I thought like lottery tickets. Maybe it was close. It was like a fun thing to do. Hey, I hit 4 or 7 on Lotto Max. Basically a millionaire.
Race number 5. I am putting $5 on Kate's Princess, number 7, to win. A little bit of a longer shot.
Whoa.
Would be nice if that could come through for me.
I don't have that one. Do I have? I just have horse 2 to win. Damn the Torpedoes. That's for Tom Petty. Great
I was
album.
thinking Damn the Torpedoes, but I ended up going with Kate's Princess. So he's a number 2. I'm a number 7. And then in race number 7, I'm going with the $1 triactor wheel, $6 bet. Number 2, Caranthos. The favorite 5, Be La Soul. And number 8, More of Tada. 258 tractor box.
Okay, I'm close. I have 2, 4, 5. So I have Caranthos, Be La Soul, and also a roller coaster, right? So that's the program.
AI Smart Picks,
That's
the program selections. Hopefully More of Tada can shake that up. Again, HPI bet, if you haven't played it, if you do want to make some remote bets at Assiniboia Downs and tracks around the world, and you can watch those races, of course, on the Assiniboia Downs YouTube channel. All right, as I say, we're going to bang out a quick marbles here for a little fantasy football draft action, but let's get over to the Cool Bet lines. Oh, a quick little update. We are going to actually be launching the WST Winners NFL content next week. And next week will be busy because we're going to do 2 separate future shows, one on player props, one on division winners, win totals, Super Bowl bets, and more. That'll be myself, Pat Gregoire, Jake Boland-Moss. But after Friday, every Friday through the NFL season, 10 a.m. in the morning, Winnipeg Sports Talk. We'll talk a little fantasy football. We'll make our NFL picks of the week on the WST Winners NFL Picks content with myself, Jake, and Pat. And of course, that is brought to you by CoolBet. Speaking of CoolBet, let's get over and check out these lines. I alluded to this before, Remis. This line has gone up for the Bombers. They opened as 4.5-point favorites. The line is now 6.5. People are not familiar with James Morgan. They're seeing that, oh wow, Montreal's down to their 4th-string quarterback. Obviously, they're gonna get smoked. Well, Mike O'Shea wasn't buying into that. They'll be ready to go. But if you do want to bet the Bombers to cover, you're going to need them to win by a touchdown. Bombers minus 286. On the money line, the biggest favorite of the week. Montreal plus 225 for the home win as the underdog and getting plus 6.5. The Elks are now 3-point favorites in Ottawa. I've seen as high as 3.5 today, but right now minus 110 and minus 3 for the Elks. They're minus 167 on the money line to win. The line that I thought would be moving has stayed put. BC minus 3.5 against the Toronto Argonauts in the early game on Saturday. And then the main event. But where are you at on this one? I know Jeff and I talked extensively on it on CFL 110. Saskatchewan at Calgary. This is basically a pick'em right now. They do have a line of Saskatchewan minus 1 up, but it's also just minus 116 for the win. So just who you got? I mean, does Saskatchewan get revenge on Calgary? Or does Calgary win and go 5-0 on the season against Winnipeg and Saskatchewan?
I'm going to go with Saskatchewan, although Calgary makes me nervous at home, coming off a bye. They're in a really good spot here to take over Saskatchewan. So, yeah, that is the main event. I agree with you. I am surprised when you asked me what the lines were. I thought BC would be favored, similar to what the Bombers are over Montreal. But it's only 3.5 for BC, and I'm actually surprised Edmonton's such a big favorite. I thought Ottawa was going to be a favorite, but sorry, I keep forgetting Drew Brown not starting. So that actually makes more sense. But still, Edmonton a favorite on the road by 3.
Who saw that? Who saw that happening a couple weeks ago?
I know Fajardo's kind of turning them around. I probably will end up taking Edmonton just because of the quarterback situation, but we've seen crazy things in the CFL.
One other thing I wanted to throw out, and of course it's the end of the PGA Tour FedEx Cup playoffs this weekend, and it is the Tour Championship. And listen, after what Scotty Scheffler did last week, he was plus 240 to win the event. There was 30 golfers. There was 50. There's now 30 remaining. And he's a very short favorite again. Plus 160 for Scheffler. Rory is 8-1. Tommy Fleetwood. Wouldn't it be something if he finally won and it was the Tour Championship for the big money, albeit only has to beat 29 guys? He's 12. Ludwig Olberg at 16-1. Russell Henley at 18. Sam Burns, Vic Hovland, 25-1. Cantlay Morikawa, JJ Spawn at 28, along with JT and Cam Young. I do know Pat Mayo has a boost in the exclusives for Cam Young, I think getting up to 35-1. Canadian Corey Connors, Ryder Cup captain Keegan Bradley, Harris English, Ben Griffin, Hideki Matsuyama, Matt McNeely, and Sepp Strack, all at 40-1. And the longest shot of them all, Andrew Novak, 150-1. Canadian Nick Taylor making it as well. He is at 100. It's all up there at Coolbet right now. Bad news, Blue Jays lost the series finale to the Pirates 2-1. And guess who had the game-winning RBI? Pretty sure it was the Psycho, Tommy Pham.
It's Tommy Pham?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Exactly. But Jays will be back at it, but no Jays tonight for y'all to watch when you are done. Hit up Coolbet. Use the promo code WST if you haven't played there before. When you make your first deposit, we'll hook you up with a 100% bonus up to $200. And again, if you are playing and you haven't already and you're able to go to Regina Labor Day weekend, send in an entry contest at winnipegsportstalk.com. Screen cap a $10 bet slip and your Coolbet ID and your contact info, and email it to contest at winnipegsportstalk.com. And we will do a marble race on Friday and send someone to the game the following week. All right, speaking of marbles, Remo, just before we break and we head over and send everyone to DB and Chris Walby, we are going to do a quick little marble race. 12 teams. We're determining a fantasy football draft order for my crew, one of the many leagues that I'm in, but a long time home league, just redrafted. My pal Coffer and the Gunslingers, Hef's the Money, PT is VRB, JJ's the Showboats, Ken O with the amazingly named Hell Caminos. We've got Hawk Tua, Z Corp, the Elite, it's my team, Jim Toast, Hungarian Hammers, Kahari's Killers, Mini Zuki, and God is Good from Tristan Shaw. So we're going to throw this into the funnel. We'll use the funnel because no one goes out. No one's getting bumped over the top. Everyone will finish. So we'll have a very clean finish and clean draft order. And I will tell you, I think next week we'll have time to maybe crank out a few more of these. So if you and your league mates are having a tough time figuring out how you want, or you want a fun way to determine your draft order, holler at us, and we should be able to squeeze a few of those in next week. The funnel, always the easiest, most simplest. A great one, a longtime favorite of WST, Remo, and I think considering that we just want to make sure no one gets top roped and we have a clean order, the funnel is the one that we should use. Good track. And Johnny Bender in chat asks, what position would you want to draft in? And do you want the number one pick in this year's fantasy football?
That is a great question. A great question. I do know some leagues where if you pull one, you just get to pick where you want in it. I would say I'm sort of thinking in and around 3 or so. I mean, it seems like Jamar Chase is the chalk number one pick. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on Saquon Barkley, B. John Robinson. I'm really high on Justin Jefferson still, and I think you can probably get him in the 4 to 6 range. But I would like to have one of those bell cow studs on my team And I do like picking early in the first round. I think it really does make a difference in the third round when you're getting into that kind of 25 to 30 tier player, the ability to get them before, doubling up if you're in the 11 or 12 spot.
Yeah, I got to be honest. We have the Winnipeg Media Draft coming up, and I haven't looked at anything. I remember all the players from last year, but some studying up will be required for sure.
Yeah, well, there's a ton of content out there, and I will direct you to fantasypoints.com. We were going to have Thomas Tipple on with us today, but again, with everything going on here, we weren't able to make it happen. We will certainly have him on next week as a lot of people will be drafting. But in the meantime, if you're looking for a great site. Oh, and by the way, we will be giving away 5 Fantasy Point subscriptions for the season next week. So stay tuned to Winnipeg Sports Talk for that. All right, Remo, why don't we fire this up? Let's get a draft order here for the fellas. And then we'll send people over for some more Bomber Talk with Bluto and bombing over on Bonfire Sports.
Okay, I have the 12 names in the funnel ready to rock.
Perfect. We're all there.
Do you want it on this?
Good luck. Yeah, let's get onto this one. I'll be able to see it a little bit better. The famed 808 Fantasy Football League, named after our old house at 808 Riverwood in Fort Garry. Good luck to everyone. Mostly good luck to me because I am one of the marbles in here. Remo, let her go into the funnel. It will be 1 through 12. Order of finish will be the draft order. And as I say, we can do this for you and maybe some other leagues next week. Here we go into the funnel. Hawk Tua. Oh, the elite. I find that the start in the funnel has always been maybe more important than some of the others because this one is a relatively single track with not a lot of other ones. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm out first.
Your team name's the elite?
With that, yeah.
Schickster was taking shots. He said it was a cringe name. I don't know.
Well, listen, who cares? As long as I will be more than happy. Although number 1, I don't know if I'll take Jamar Chase. I hate Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase is still sour that the Chiefs have done what they've done to the Bengals over the years. Maybe as they say, first things first. It's looking good for me right now, though. I'm in first. The elite gunslingers, Hungarian hammers. Toth could use a break these days. He has had a lot going on. He's moving. He's doing electrical work. Raising a family.
He's doing electrical work?
He's doing all this stuff
he knows
that happens.
About that?
I don't know. He's probably just has to be there when someone does it. But all right, we're into another funnel. Can I negotiate this one well? We'll see.
Okay, wait. I think meant Jim he's just there while the electrical work is being done on his house.
Yeah, but that's not the way it comes across in texts.
Okay. He said he's doing the work.
He didn't explicitly say that. But, all right, looks like a lot of people are catching up to me. Can the elite come through and be the first team down? There's Z-Corp, the Killers. God is good. The Hammers. Right now, a very, very slight lead. I've had the lead throughout. This would be a real, although, to be honest, as I said, I wouldn't mind second or third pick. Just being near the front of the race is good enough for me right now with a strong pick. In the top 3, likely. But it could be number 1. I've got a slight lead. It's the elite. It's got it good. It's the Hammers. Wire to wire. There we go. Number 1 pick for the Huss. Gentlemen, this is our order. Elite. Shaw, number 2. Toth and the Hammers, number 3. Commissioner Z in at number 4. Minizuki, number 5. He'll be praying that Justin Jefferson is still there when he's on the clock. Kahari's Killers, Hawk Tua. Coffers, the Gunslingers. The Money and Hef, number 9. JJ, the Showboats. VRB, number 12. And the Caminos are number 10. I'm going to take a quick pick of this to send to the boys. And with that, we will get ready to go over and check out the bonfire, guys. Eventful day here at Remis. Great morning. All ready to go for a big show, and the show got, well, let's just say that we had plenty of other things to get to, which we'll save for tomorrow. But this should be 2 big days. We got Bombers to talk about. We've got the tournament here. We've got CEBL Championship weekend, and the next 2 days on WST are going to be packed after this abbreviated show.
Yeah, we've only had one show ever since we started that we didn't do, and that was because of flight cancellations. And I think we've had internet issues in the past, but we've overcome them, and we overcame it again. Abbreviated show, but we got everything done in terms of the Bombers, looking at and talking with the depth chart, and some great information for anyone coming down to Breezy over the next couple days to take in the Manitoba Open. I'm gonna have to take a walk around. It looks beautiful out there.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, the event gets going tomorrow morning, so I encourage all you to come down. Kids under 18 free all week and weekend. And then the family day, 12 to 4, free hot dog, chips, and drink for all kids in attendance. But tomorrow, 2:40, Eric Comrie tees off. Braxton Kuntz making his professional debut here in his home course. Eric Noctegal, the Manitoba Am champion. And obviously the stars of PGA Tour Americas. That is going to do it for us. Again, check out CFL 110 if you haven't already. Tons of great content as we get you ready for a big week in the league. And stick around. If you're with us live, we're going to check you over to Bonfire Sports right now. Bombing and Walby getting you ready for tomorrow's tilt between the Blue Bombers and Alouettes. Hammer will join us from Montreal tomorrow. Mo Khan in Montreal as well. CEBL Commissioner Mike Morreale. Mike McIntyre's going to be kicking around here covering the event. I'm sure we'll talk to him. So make sure to join us tomorrow at 1. Huge thanks to the sponsors that make this show happen each and every day. Apologies to them and all of you for the shortened show. We'll be back doing it as normal, 2+ hours, starting at 1 o'clock here from Breezy Bend in the Manitoba Open tomorrow on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Have a great night and enjoy what the Bonfire Boys are up to.
Oh, my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.